Have you ever woken up in the morning and, before even putting your feet on the floor, already felt an inexplicable weight in your chest? A feeling that another day of rushing was beginning, another journey in a marathon that seems to have no end? Maybe you looked in the mirror today and asked yourself, when did life become so heavy? When did waking up stop being a gift and become just another obligation? If these questions touched something inside you, know that you are not alone. In fact, you are part of an entire generation that is living through a silent epidemic, an epidemic of exhaustion, anxiety, and existential emptiness that is consuming millions of people around the world. But what if I told you there's a way out? What if I told you that it's possible to find peace in the midst of chaos, rest in the midst of rushing, and true joy in a world that seems to have lost its way? This isn't just another motivational talk. This is a journey of discovery that can completely change your perspective on what really matters in life. It's an invitation for you to stop running a race that isn't yours and discover the secret of a full and meaningful life. Are you ready to discover why so many people are exhausted, even though they have more comfort and opportunities than any previous generation? Are you prepared to understand what is stealing your peace and, more importantly, how to get it back? Then take a deep breath, because this journey will touch deep places in your soul. And when we're finished, you'll never look at life the same way again. Chapter 1. The Diagnosis of an Exhausted Generation. We live in an extraordinary time. Never in the history of humanity have we had so much access to information, so many opportunities, so much comfort. Our ancestors couldn't even dream of the conveniences we have today. And yet, paradoxically, never has a generation been so mentally exhausted, so emotionally fragile, so spiritually empty. Do you know what the trademark of our generation is? It's not technology. It's not medical advances. No. The trademark of our generation is emotional exhaustion. For every 10 people you meet today, 5 are dealing with some type of serious emotional problem. Burnout, panic syndrome, generalized anxiety, depression. 5 out of 10. This isn't normal. This is an epidemic. But why is this happening? What is causing this tsunami of emotional problems in a generation that, theoretically, has everything to be the happiest in history? The answer lies in a single word: race. Not a physical race, but an existential race. A desperate race for something that always seems to be one step ahead of us. A race that promises us happiness, success, and recognition, but that, in reality, is killing us from the inside. Do you recognize yourself in this description? Do you feel like you're running, but never getting anywhere? That you're always chasing something: a better job, a bigger house, a newer car, more followers on social media, more recognition, but that even when you achieve these things, the feeling of emptiness continues? If the answer is yes, you need to understand something urgent. You're not running your race. You're running someone else's race. Chapter 2. The Tyranny of Appearance. We live in the era of appearance. A time when seeming has become more important than being. Where performance on social media is worth more than the reality of our private life. And the result of this? A generation of emotional doubles. People who seem happy but aren't. People who seem prosperous but are in debt up to their necks. People who project a perfect life online but cry alone in their room every night. Do you want to know how far we've come? There are people renting luxury cars just to take photos. There are photo studios that simulate the interior of private jets so people can post as if they were traveling by private jet. There are people going into debt to buy things they don't need to impress people who don't even truly like them. But why do we do this? Why do we submit to this torture? Why do we choose to live a facade life instead of building something real and genuine? The answer is painful but necessary, because we're addicted to external validation. Because our self-esteem has become dependent on others' opinions. Because we've confused our value with our social performance. And you know what's saddest? The more we try to impress others, the less impressive we become to ourselves. The more we run after external approval, the more we lose our internal identity. Chapter 3. The Prison of Comparison. There's a silent thief that's stealing joy from millions of people every day. This thief won't break into your house, won't take your material goods, but will do something worse: steal your ability to be grateful for what you have. The name of this thief is comparison. Social media has become this thief's perfect weapon. There you only see the end of things, never the middle. You see the paradisiacal trip but don't see the years of work to save the money. You see the job promotion but don't see the sleepless nights studying. You see the perfect marriage but don't see the conflicts and reconciliations that strengthen that relationship. And what happens? You compare your middle with others' end. You compare your struggles with others' victories. You compare your process with others' finished product. And then you always feel behind, always insufficient, always less than others. You develop the syndrome that you're always one step behind everyone else, that your life is moving slower than others, that you're missing something important. But tell me something, when was the last time you stopped to be grateful for what you already have, instead of lamenting what you haven't conquered yet? Practical Teaching 1: The Transformative Power of Gratitude. Here's the first practical lesson that can revolutionize your life today. Gratitude is the most powerful antidote against chronic dissatisfaction. But I'm not talking about superficial gratitude, those ready-made phrases we repeat automatically. I'm talking about deep, conscious gratitude that comes when you really stop to observe your life. Practical exercise. Tonight, before sleeping, do this simple but transformative exercise. 1. Look around you and identify 5 things you can be genuinely grateful for. It could be your bed, your house, your family, your health, the fact that you have food in the refrigerator. 2. Don't compare these things with what others have. Compare only with what you didn't have before, or imagine what your life would be like without them. 3. Really feel the gratitude, don't just think about it. Let this feeling warm your heart. You know what's going to happen? For the first time in a long while, you'll fall asleep in peace. Not with anxiety about what you need to achieve tomorrow, but with the tranquility of someone who recognizes they already have much to be grateful for today. And when you wake up, instead of starting the day thinking about what's missing, you'll start thinking about what's present. This simple change in perspective has the power to transform not just your day but your entire life. Chapter 4: The Desperate Search for Peace. Do you know what the true motivation is behind this insane race we're all running? It's not greed. It's not vanity. It's not even pure materialism. The true motivation is a simple word: peace. That's right. Deep down, when people run after more money, they're not running after the money itself. They're running after the peace they believe money will bring. The peace to be able to choose. The peace of not worrying about bills at the end of the month. The peace of being able to give their children a good education. The peace of not depending on anyone. The peace of having financial security. And there's nothing wrong with wanting these things. The problem isn't in seeking prosperity or stability. The problem is in the methods we're using to achieve this peace. Because, you see, in our desperate search for peace, we're destroying exactly what we're seeking. We're working so much to have peace that we lose peace in the process. We're killing ourselves working to guarantee the family's future, but we're losing the present with them. What good is it to conquer financial peace if we lose emotional peace? What's the point of gaining the whole world if we lose our soul in the process? Chapter 5: The Hidden Wisdom in the Countryside. Let me tell you a story that will change your perspective on what really matters in life. Imagine a place far from the city's hustle and bustle. A simple, humble countryside where life runs at a completely different pace. There, in a simple wooden house, lived a man in his early 70s. This man didn't have internet. He didn't follow influencers. He knew nothing about the latest productivity trends or millionaire secrets. He simply lived. And you know what was most impressive about this man? His genuine joy. A happiness that bubbled from inside out, contagious, authentic. He took pride in the simplest things you can imagine. He had discovered a unique method for sharpening his axe, and to him, this was the most ingenious thing in the world. In his mind, no industry on the planet could do it the same way. He made his own craft beer and offered it to visitors with a smile on his face, saying with genuine pride, "This is the best beer in life you're going to drink." And you know why he was so happy? Why he lived with so much contentment? Because he didn't compare himself to anyone. He didn't know that more efficient industrial axes existed. He didn't know there were award-winning beers all over the world. He lived what we can call the blessing of ignorance, but not stupid ignorance, rather wise ignorance. The wisdom of not contaminating himself with unnecessary comparisons. That simple man from the countryside had discovered a secret that our connected generation has completely lost sight of. True happiness doesn't come from having more, but from valuing what we already have. Practical teaching 2, disconnecting to reconnect. The story of the man from the countryside teaches us something revolutionary for our time. Sometimes we need to disconnect from the world to reconnect with ourselves. Practical challenge, the digital fast. This week, try doing a partial digital fast. 1. Choose a period of the day, it can be 1 hour initially, where you'll be completely disconnected. No cell phone, no internet, no social media. 2. During this time, practice full presence. Observe your house, your family, your belongings with new eyes. See them not by comparing with what others have, but by valuing what they represent in your life. 3. Ask yourself, if I were the man from the countryside, how would I see this life of mine? What would I find incredible in my daily life that I'm letting go unnoticed? You'll be amazed at what you'll discover. Maybe for the first time in years, you'll notice the taste of your food, the color of your walls, your spouse's smile, your children's laughter. And you'll realize something shocking. You already have many more reasons to be happy than you imagine. You just weren't paying attention to them. Chapter 6, The True Meaning of Wealth. Some time ago, a conversation with a 5-year-old child completely changed the perspective on what it really means to be rich. This child, with the brutal honesty of children, declared with absolute certainty, "Rich means having money." That's exactly the logic the world teaches us from an early age, isn't it? Rich is someone who has money. Success is someone who owns more things. Value is measured by what's in the bank account. But at that moment, there was an opportunity to plant a different seed in that child's mind. With love and patience, a lesson was taught that the world never teaches. Truly rich is someone who has Jesus in their heart. 2 years passed. One day, because of a family dream, it became necessary to sell a car that the child really liked. Seeing that the child might be sad, there was a new conversation, establishing a clear hierarchy of values. "Son, what do you think is worth more to Daddy, that car or you?" The answer came immediately, "It's me, Daddy." Exactly. The most important thing and what has the most value, Daddy already has. You and Mommy. And then, remembering that old conversation, the child himself completed the lesson with a smile. "And Jesus, right, Dad?" That simple scene revealed a profound truth that our society has lost sight of. True wealth isn't in the things we can lose, but in the treasures that no one can take from us. Practical teaching 3, redefining your concept of success. Now I want to ask a question that can change your life forever. How do you define success? Be honest. When you think of a successful person, what comes to your mind? The car they drive? The house where they live? Their bank account? The trips they take? If your answer was yes to any of these things, you urgently need to redefine your concept of success. Redefinition exercise. Take a piece of paper and make 2 lists. List 1, wealth that can be lost. Money, car, house, job, immaterial possessions. List 2, wealth that no one can steal. Genuine relationships, emotional health, inner peace, knowledge and wisdom, faith and purpose, precious memories with loved ones. Now answer me, which of these lists have you been investing more time, energy, and attention in? Most people spend their entire lives running after the items on the first list, completely neglecting the second. And when they realize it, they've already lost what really matters. I'm not saying money and possessions are bad. I'm saying they are just tools, not final objectives. The final objective is a full, meaningful life, filled with genuine relationships and true purpose. Practical challenge. From today on, before making any important decision, ask yourself, is this decision taking me closer to or further from the wealth that no one can steal from me? Chapter 7. The question that changes everything. There's a question that every human being should ask themselves at least once in their life. It's such a powerful question that it has the power to completely reorient your priorities and decisions. This question is, how much does the money I earn cost? I'm not talking about the time you spend working. I'm talking about the real price, the true cost you're paying for your salary or income. How much is it costing your mental health? How much is it costing your marriage? How much is it costing your relationship with your children? How much is it costing your inner peace? How much is it costing your faith? How much is it costing your integrity? Because if the cost of your money is your family, your health, your peace, or your soul, then that's the most horrible and dirty money you could receive. It's money that, in reality, impoverished you instead of enriching you. What good is it to gain the whole world if you lose your soul in the process? What's the point of having everything if that everything cost exactly what made your life worth living? Practical teaching 4. The life audit. It's time to do an honest audit of your life. It's time to calculate not just how much you earn, but how much you're paying for that earning. Personal audit exercise. Take a piece of paper and answer honestly. Section A. What I'm gaining. How much do I earn financially? What social position have I achieved? What professional recognition do I have? Section B. What I'm paying. How many hours per week do I work? How long has it been since I had a truly free weekend? When was the last time I had a deep conversation with my spouse? When was the last time I played with my children without rushing? How is my physical and mental health? How is my spiritual life? What is my daily stress level? Section C. The final balance. Looking at the two sections above, am I gaining more than I'm losing? Is what I'm sacrificing worth what I'm achieving? If the answers in section B scared you, if you realized you're paying too high a price for what you're gaining, then it's time for a radical change. And the good news is that it's not too late. It's never too late to reorient your life, to redefine your priorities, to choose a different path. But first, you need to understand what the alternative to this endless race is. Chapter 8. The revolutionary principle of rest. There's a moment recorded in history that forever changed how we should understand work, rest, and life priorities. It's a simple moment but profoundly revolutionary. Imagine the scene. A group of men was working intensely. They had the most important mission in the world, to spread a message that would transform humanity. There was urgency, there was pressure, there was a lot of work to be done. These people were so busy, so involved with their responsibilities, that they didn't have time even to eat. It was total rushing, a completely packed schedule, a demand that never stopped. And it was exactly at this moment that something extraordinary happened. The leader of this group, seeing the state of exhaustion of his team, made a decision that goes against everything our culture teaches us about productivity and success. He said, "Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest." Stop and think about this for a moment. This wasn't a time for a break. This wasn't a period of low demand. On the contrary, it was the moment of greatest urgency and opportunity. And even so, the leader prioritized the well-being and rest of his team above immediate results. He understood something that our generation has completely lost sight of. Before people explode from exhaustion, it's better to save them, take them to a quiet place and have quality time with them. This leader was Jesus Christ. And this revolutionary principle of rest wasn't a casual suggestion. It was a divine commandment for all humanity. Chapter 9. The heart is worth more than the fruits. There's a question that can completely revolutionize your life. A question that Jesus asked not with words but with attitudes. A question that he asks you today. Can I look at you and say that your fruits are not more important than your heart? This question goes straight to the center of our modern obsession with performance, productivity, and results. It challenges our culture that measures a person's value by what they produce, what they achieve, what they accomplish. Jesus was more concerned with the health of his disciples' hearts than with the number of people they would reach. He was more interested in their internal well-being than in their external performance. And this goes against everything we've learned, doesn't it? We grew up hearing that the show must go on, that we can't rest because there's too much work to do, that resting is laziness, that sleeping is for the weak. But Jesus teaches us the opposite. He shows us that God cares more about who you are than what you do, more about your inner health than your outer productivity. When was the last time you evaluated your life not by your results, but by the condition of your heart? When was the last time you measured your success not by what you achieved, but by how you're feeling inside? Practical Teaching 5, the Heart Checkup. If you went to the doctor today, he would do a series of tests to check how your physical health is. But when was the last time you did a checkup of your heart, not the physical organ, but your emotional and spiritual heart? Exercise, the heart examination. Answer these questions with total honesty. Emotional health. How is my level of inner peace on a scale of 1 to 10? Do I sleep well or do I lie awake worrying? Do I have energy for the people I love, or is there only tiredness left? Do I feel genuine joy, or do I just function on autopilot? Relational health. When was the last time I had a deep conversation with someone? Are my relationships being nurtured or neglected? Do the people close to me feel loved or just tolerated? Spiritual health. Do I feel connection with something greater than myself? Do I have clear purpose or do I just fulfill obligations? Is my life aligned with my deepest values? If your answers revealed a sick heart, you need to understand something urgent. No external achievement is worth it if it costs the health of your heart. The good news is that, just like the physical body, the heart can also be healed and strengthened. But this requires a conscious decision to prioritize your internal well-being. Chapter 10. The Deconstruction of False Success Doctrines. We need to have a frank conversation about the lies our culture is selling as absolute truths. We need to deconstruct these success doctrines that are destroying an entire generation. Lie number 1, you need to wake up at 4 a.m. to be successful. How many times have you heard this? Successful people wake up early, the day starts at 4 a.m. If you're not awake at dawn, you don't really want success. But here's the truth no one wants to tell you. This may be one person's individual experience, but it's not a universal doctrine. If you work late, if you have small children, if your body works better at other times, you're not doomed to failure. Lie number 2, traditional employment is for people without vision. There's absurd pressure today for everyone to be an entrepreneur, for everyone to have their own business. And those who work as traditional employees are seen as people without vision, without ambition, without courage. This is a cruel and dangerous lie. There's nothing wrong with having a stable job, with valuing security, with preferring the predictability of a fixed salary. Lie number 3, if you're not constantly productive, you're wasting time. We live in the era of hyperproductivity, where every minute needs to be optimized, where rest is seen as laziness, where you need to always be doing something useful. But this is a guaranteed recipe for burnout. Human beings weren't created to be result-producing machines 24 hours a day. The problem with these lies isn't that they're completely false. It's that they transform individual experiences into universal doctrines. And when you can't fit into these formulas, you feel inadequate, failed, less than others. Practical Teaching 6. Creating your own life manual. It's time to stop living by others' manuals and create your own life manual. A manual based on your values, your circumstances, your real priorities. Exercise, personalizing your success. Step 1. Identify your real circumstances. What is your actual work routine? What are your family responsibilities? What is your natural energy rhythm? What are your practical limitations? Step 2. Define your non-negotiable values. What is really important to you? What would you never want to sacrifice? What kind of person do you want to be? Step 3. Create your own success rules. What will a successful day look like in your life? What routines really work for you? How will you measure progress in a healthy way? Stop trying to live others' lives. Stop comparing yourself with people who have completely different realities from yours. Your life is unique, your circumstances are unique, and your path to a full life will also be unique. Chapter 11. Balance as the key to life. There's a concept that our society has completely lost: balance. We live in the era of extremes, where either you're working 12 hours a day or you're considered lazy. Either you're in grind culture, or you have no ambition. But healthy life isn't in the extremes. Healthy life is in balance. A balanced life is one where your soul is at peace with God. Your spirit is aligned with your deepest values. Your physical body is being treated with care and respect. Your relationships are being nurtured. Your work has purpose but doesn't consume your identity. There's even a term for this that some people call creative leisure. Moments of mental rest that other people might call laziness, but that are actually essential for a clear head and healthy life. When was the last time you had a moment of creative leisure? A moment where you weren't producing anything, weren't consuming content, weren't being useful, just existing, breathing, being? Practical Teaching 7. The Personal Balance Plan. Balance doesn't happen by chance. It needs to be planned, protected, and consciously practiced. Creating your balance plan. Spiritual area, 15 to 30 minutes daily. Moment of reflection or prayer. Reading texts that nourish your soul. Connection with something greater than yourself. Physical area, 30 to 60 minutes, at least 3x a week. Exercise appropriate to your conditioning. Conscious and balanced eating. Quality sleep, 7 to 8 hours. Relational area, daily quality time. Genuine conversations with loved ones. Full presence with family. Cultivation of true friendships. Professional area, without invading other areas. A work with purpose and excellence. Clear time boundaries. A development of relevant skills. Personal area, creative leisure moments. Hobbies that bring joy. Moments of silence and contemplation. Activities that nourish your creativity. Start small. Choose one area at a time. The goal isn't perfection, but conscious progress toward a more balanced and meaningful life. Chapter 12. The most important invitation of your life. We've reached the most important moment of this journey. Everything we've talked about so far has brought us to this point. The most important invitation you can receive in your life. It's an invitation that echoes through the centuries, that crosses cultures and generations, that is directed specifically to people like us, people tired, overwhelmed, exhausted by this life's endless race. It's Jesus Christ's invitation: come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. This isn't a superficial religious invitation. This is the invitation from someone who deeply understands the weight you're carrying. From someone who knows the pressure you feel. From someone who sees your exhaustion and offers something the world can never give: true rest for your soul. Jesus isn't offering another success formula. He's not promising that your problems will disappear or that your life will become perfect. He's offering something much better: relief from the burden you're carrying. He says, "Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." Final practical teaching: the decision that divides your history. This is the most important decision you can make today. It's not a decision about waking up earlier or adopting a new productivity routine. It's a decision about where you're going to place the hope of your life. The great decision. You can continue running the race the world has imposed on you. You can continue killing yourself to impress people, accumulate things, seek external validation. You can continue carrying alone the weight of your worries, anxieties, and fears. Or you can choose to give your life to Jesus Christ. You can choose to recognize Him as your Savior and Lord. You can choose to find in Him the rest your soul so desperately seeks. If you've never made this choice, it doesn't matter where you are now, it doesn't matter what you've done or failed to do, it doesn't matter how far you feel from God. The invitation is being made to you today. You can, at this exact moment, make a simple but transformative prayer. Jesus, I recognize that I've been trying to carry life's weight alone, and this has left me exhausted. I recognize that you died on the cross for my sins and rose again to give me new life. I give my life to you now. Be my Savior and Lord. Give me the rest my soul needs. In your name, amen. If you already know Jesus, maybe you already know Jesus but you've forgotten the rest He offers. Maybe you're trying to live the Christian life at the same frantic pace as the world. This is your opportunity to renew your commitment to kingdom priorities, to remember that God cares more about your heart than your performance. Conclusion: the ending that is a new beginning. Here we are, at the end of this journey that, in reality, is the beginning of a new way of living. We talked about a generation's exhaustion, about the tyranny of appearance, about the prison of comparison. We saw how the desperate search for peace is paradoxically destroying our peace. We met the simple wisdom of the man from the countryside, learned about the true meaning of wealth, discovered the real cost of the money we earn. We understood the revolutionary principle of rest, deconstructed false success doctrines, and found the path of balance. But above all, we heard the most important invitation of our lives, Jesus' invitation to find true rest for our soul. From today on, you no longer need to run others' race. You no longer need to carry life's weight alone. You no longer need to seek your identity in things you can lose. You can finally rest. You can finally live. You can finally be truly happy. The endless race has come to an end. Rest has begun. And when you look back at this decision you made today, you'll be able to divide your history into two simple periods: before and after. Before, when you ran others' race, and after, when you found rest for your soul. Welcome to your new life.